She says she's fine, but pulls away the moment you get close. What if I told you, the more she feels for you, the more distance she creates? This isn't rejection, it's protection. And today, we're diving deep into the secret psychology behind why a woman pushes you away right when she wants you the most. 1. Pause. Before reacting, when she pulls away, your first instinct might be panic. Did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? This emotional spiral can lead to impulsive actions, texting her repeatedly, demanding clarity, or over-apologizing. But high-value men understand the power of stillness. Her emotional shift doesn't always require immediate action. Sometimes it's not even about you. It could be life stress, emotional overload, or a need to recalibrate. Instead of reacting, pause, breathe. Observe your own emotions without judgment. Ground yourself in who you are, not who you fear you're becoming. This moment of pause separates the emotionally intelligent man from the reactive one. By doing nothing initially, you're giving her space and preserving your own dignity. Remember, you don't need to fix her emotions to be worthy. Just stay centered. That alone is deeply attractive and powerful. Don't chase. When someone pulls away, the natural urge is to close the gap. But chasing someone who's pulling back only fuels the distance. It affirms her subconscious belief that closeness equals pressure. You might think you're showing care, but to her, it feels like you're crowding her. The better approach? Hold your emotional ground. Maintain kindness and warmth, but without the undertone of desperation. Let your presence be felt, not forced. Chasing makes her the prize, but in a healthy relationship, you're both the prize. Let her feel the slight absence. Let her wonder about your calm. That intrigue often invites her to re-engage on her own terms, so don't chase. Let your stillness speak. Maintain your rhythm. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman pulls away is suddenly changing who they are. They stop their hobbies, they cancel plans, they become consumed with fixing the relationship. But this does the opposite of what works. It signals emotional instability, like your whole world revolved around her. Instead, keep living. Continue your workouts, your work, your friendships, your growth. Let her see that you are emotionally consistent, that you don't fall apart when something feels uncertain. This emotional self-sufficiency is what high-value men are known for. You're not pretending to be unaffected, you're simply prioritizing your balance. That's not cold, that's grounded. She needs to feel the contrast. While she's pulled back to gather her emotions, you stayed in motion. That rhythm tells her she's with someone who can lead not just in good times, but also in emotional turbulence. Respect her space, but don't disappear. There's a fine line between giving space and ghosting. When she pulls away, respect her emotional need for distance, but don't vanish. Disappearing completely can make her feel abandoned, or worse, replaced. It turns a temporary emotional pullback into a permanent emotional wall. Instead, stay lightly present. Send a thoughtful message after a day or two. Something simple. No pressure, no expectations. A genuine check-in like, "Hey, thinking of you, hope your week's been kind to you," can keep the bridge between you intact without forcing her to cross it. This type of communication shows maturity and patience. You're not demanding her energy, you're offering warmth. You're saying, "I'm here, I care, and I'm not rushing you." That's incredibly reassuring. It gives her the safety to process whatever she's feeling while still knowing you're steady on the other side of her silence. Trust what's real. When she pulls away, doubt creeps in. You start questioning everything. Was the connection even real? Did I misread her? But high-value men don't let temporary distance rewrite their story. If she connected with you once, deeply, genuinely, then that experience was real, and it still lives in her memory. What ruins that memory isn't her distance, it's your reaction to it. If you become anxious, needy, or accusatory, you cloud what once made her feel safe. So don't try to overcompensate. Don't make her remember stress when she thinks of you. Let her remember peace. Let her remember the version of you that made her feel seen. Trusting what's real means staying aligned with who you are, even when the dynamic temporarily shifts. It's about believing that emotional ebb and flow is normal, and that someone worth your energy will come back when they feel safe enough to do so. Let her come back on her terms. The real test of your emotional maturity is how you receive her return. If she comes back and you meet her with coldness, punishment, or guilt tripping, she'll emotionally retreat again. Why? Because now you've become the unsafe one. Instead, welcome her return with warmth, but not without boundaries. You're not erasing the past, you're simply not weaponizing it. High-value men know that emotional safety is magnetic. That doesn't mean you ignore patterns or red flags, but you also don't treat a moment of emotional retreat like betrayal. When she comes back, don't demand explanations. Let her share at her pace. Make it safe again. And from that space of trust, you can rebuild or reevaluate. But always remember, she'll only stay if returning doesn't feel like a punishment. Emotional maturity isn't about control, it's about creating space for connection to reblossom. Most men don't lose women because they're not tall enough, rich enough, or charming enough. They lose them because they don't understand the silent language of emotion, how fear, past wounds, and unresolved trauma shape a woman's heart, especially when love starts to feel real. When a woman pulls away, it's easy to assume rejection, but often it's the opposite. Sometimes she retreats not because you're wrong for her, but because deep down she fears you might actually be right. And that kind of love, the kind that sees her, holds space for her, and feels too good to be true, can trigger every defense mechanism she's built to survive past heartbreak. This isn't about you not being enough. It's about whether you can hold your ground when she forgets her worth for a moment, whether you can stay steady when she's unsure. So when she pulls back, don't chase, don't crumble. Just hold the line with calm strength. Let her feel the storm without adding to it. Because here's what most men never realize. The distance she creates isn't always to leave you. Sometimes it's her way of checking. Will the man I want still be there when I finally feel safe? Enough to come close if you don't guilt her, don't shame her, don't punish her, she won't just come back, she'll trust you. And that kind of trust? That's where the real love begins. Love begins.